This morning, Chad Daybell appeared in court for his preliminary hearing on 2 felony counts of conspiracy to commit alteration, destruction, or concealment of evidence in the deaths of his wife, Lori Vallow's children. The state called multiple witnesses to the stand, including Detective Raid Hermancello, who was at Daybell's property on June 9th and 10th when the remains of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan were found. Hermosillo was charged with taking the remains to the Ada County Coroner's office. He described the evidence recovery team finding a melted green bucket with burned flesh and a partial human skull. He also explained how JJ's face, arms, and ankles were tightly bound together with duct tape. Well, KPVI News that works for you journalist Cade Gardner was at the courthouse today. He joins us now in the newsroom to tell us more about 2 more witnesses who are called to take the stand this afternoon. Cade.
Thanks, Matt. This afternoon, the state called a second detective to the witness stand. He was involved in the initial welfare check police conducted late last year. Later, Melanie Gibb, who was a friend of Chad and Lori, took the stand. She was one of the last people to see J.J. Vallow alive. That's the sound of Detective David Stubbs and Lieutenant Ball knocking on the Rexburg apartment door of Lori Vallow last November to do a welfare check on 7-year-old J.J. Vallow.
This is my body cam footage as myself and Lieutenant Ball approach the apartment number 175 the first time on the 26th.
Cameras weren't allowed to film evidence, but were allowed to capture audio. Here's part of the initial interaction between Lieutenant Ball and Lori.
So,
sorry.
Who's the friend he's with?
My friend Melanie. Her son has autism. Her name is Melanie Gibb. I gave him all the information.
While listening to that conversation, JJ's grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock, could be seen shaking their heads in disbelief. The state later called Melanie Gibb to the stand. She said both Chad and Lori called her that day, asking her to tell police she had JJ. She ignored both calls and a text from the Rexburg police, but responded to an officer from the Gilbert, Arizona Police Department, telling the officer
that he was with me, and then she came to get him. Okay. So that it would turn the police back to Rexburg and not with me.
Gibb then admitted that she never had JJ. She later became suspicious of Lori and Chad, and so she called the pair on December 8th. She recorded the call. Here's part of it.
But if you really loved me, you wouldn't have told the police that I had JJ with me. That's not what a friend does. I mean, that just makes me look weird, and it's not safe for me. That doesn't look good. I mean, you had to think of my welfare if you love me.
I do, and I did exactly what I felt the Lord was instructing me to do. And I appreciate you, and I love you. And I would never do anything to harm you. And you can have all of this confirmed to you by the Lord.
After listening to the call between Gibb and Vallow, the court took a recess. The hearing will resume tomorrow morning. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Cade Garner. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thank you very much, Cade.